Hello, Frog fans. Welcome back to Postgame Beers. We are the Lupton Drinking Club. We bring you weekly recaps, game previews, and stories from the front row of your favorite team, Frog Ball USA. The Frogs ended a road series in Austin this afternoon, and you should not be surprised that we've got plenty of thoughts. I'm your host, Kyle Malloy, at YellMK on Twitter. I'm joined by my co-host, the master of activities, Jacob Sailors, at JD Sailors. But for the first time, we are not podcasting from producer Reed's office. No, we are not podcasting from Zoom. We are here together in the Roxo Media House on the set of Frogs Today. We're potting together as God intended. Jacob, are you jacked about this? Are you jacked about this?
Look at these digs, y'all. Can you believe this? How cool is this?
This setup's immaculate.
This is kind of intimidating. I don't know if I'm going to be able to podcast tonight.
I'm not sure how we got fancy.
You're a professional now.
I'll try to bring it together, but man, this is cool. No, yeah, this is really awesome. So happy to be here.
We got fancy overnight. So
yeah.
we'll try to not let it go to our heads a little bit. Rounding out our LDC crew, we have Crazy Ray Cartwright, the Sultan of Stat, Martin Guerrero, and, of course, producer Reed Simpson. Gentlemen of the studio, how are you?
Doing good, MK. You know, it's been a long weekend in Austin. Excited to get back here in Fort Worth and do a little potting.
What's up, Reed? What's up, Martin? How y'all doing?
I'm a little tired, but I'm pumped. Now that
I'm going to need a little more out of you. MK, we were in Austin. What were you doing all weekend?
All weekend. So I was gone. I was
curious.
I took a trip to Vegas.
Woo-wee.
Had a great time. Do you guys want to hear about it?
Yeah, tell us.
All right.
Yeah.
So, you guys seen the movie Hangover?
Uh-oh. I don't like where this is going.
Yeah, so it wasn't quite like that.
Disappointing. Disappointing.
Yeah.
Steal a tiger?
Real quick, when's the last time you guys went to Vegas?
MK. Never been, buddy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Never been.
Fellas?
About 5 years for me.
Yeah.
Never been.
So that was the same for me. It's been maybe 5-6 years. And each time you go back, it gets bigger, gets grander.
There's a new casino that goes up every time.
And they're all phenomenal.
It's because I keep betting the over on Sundays.
We arrived, got treated like royalty by the taxi cabs. I feel like they're entertaining you just as much as anybody in the shows and stuff. But the weather was perfect. We walked the strip the first day, played a few hands of blackjack, lost a couple $100 on that at Caesar's Palace, but had an amazing steak dinner. The one thing that was memorable about this place, so we went to SW Steakhouse, which is outside of the Wynn Casino. Very fancy. Obviously, most of the stuff is there. But I was pretty confident I'm sitting next to some Eastern European mob boss because this dude walks in. Yeah. So I'm trying to set the scene here. Remember the rapper Fat Joe?
Yes.
Okay, big Fat Joe vibes, right?
I hope this story ends with you getting a job.
And he comes in, they sit down, obviously bottle service right away. They order 2 of the seafood platters, which, doesn't sound like a big deal. Each of them's $195 a pop, right? And so we're sitting there turning just in awe of, what's going on. The waiters are, all over them, hand and foot. It was a fun crew to sit next to. Obviously, they were excited. They were jovial. They were, sharing tons of drinks. And anyway, long story short, it was a great dinner, and we had an awesome balcony right on the strip. So we kind of just chilled that night, watched the cars drive by and the people. And day 2 was a little bit more relaxing. Got to go to the pool, and the most interesting thing in the afternoon was we stopped by the sports book. So I didn't know if they were going to have college baseball lines. It's a very niche sport,
buddy.
And they have obviously all the NFL and all the major games that are going on. Even the future stuff for the NFL or bigger sports. But I walked up and I said, "You got any college baseball lines?" And the guy, types in his computer, looks out a few things, and prints me off a ticket. And sure enough, he's got 3 lines for 3 different games, and one of them is TCU Texas.
Hammer the Frogs.
So I said, you know what? Marcelo's pitching on
Yes,
Saturday,
sir.
and I feel good about Marcelo Perez. And so I put $100. The line was plus 15. What that means is if I put $100, I win $150 on top of that. So they would actually give me $250 back.
Yep.
So again, I kind of went in thinking if I lose $400 or $500 over the whole weekend, I'll feel in a pretty good place. At that point, like I said, I'd only lost a couple hundred at the tables, and so I was like, you know what? I'm doing this. We sat there, watch the game the whole time. I'm going nuts. You know, I'm jumping ahead, obviously, to our week recaps. But as the Frogs win, I'm yelling like crazy.
Breaking news.
And walk up and later on collect my winnings, which I felt pretty good about. So all in all, I only left Vegas $50 down gambling, which I thought was, you know, I consider that a win.
Hey, you should have taken the over on Saturday too, man.
I should have taken. You know what? I almost took the under. Because I was worried, but so
fading me.
I'm
fading me.
I'm glad I did.
I took the over in the Frogs, and it was a good day.
I'm glad I didn't. So
hey, so tell us some of those stories you were talking about in the break room off air. Like, was it Trixie's? You're right. Like, what were those stories?
I'm not going to go down that line. So here's the deal. It was
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was with my wife. We were with two other couples. We had a lovely time outside of any strip club.
Of course, of course.
No, we had a blast. It was a perfect weekend to kind of get away. We were there for less than 48 hours. A great weekend in Vegas, and honestly, I didn't miss you guys at all.
48 hours is all you need in Vegas.
Dude, that sounds awesome, man. I don't know why, to me, Vegas is just never on my radar. I mean, I go places all the time. I like to try new places. Vegas never really comes to mind.
Which is interesting as much as you love to gamble.
I think deep down, I'm terrified of that city and what could happen to me when I'm out there and how things would end up.
You can get in a lot of trouble gambling. The thing is, if you like people watching, it is a competitive. It's a competitive sport. I mean,
for sure.
You've got people walking around in tuxedos and suits next to somebody else who's wearing basically nothing because they're trying to sell you on something or whatever. And we saw a show actually on Saturday night called Absinthe, and it's kind of a mix of The Greatest Showman. So it was in a circus tent, plus like this raunchy comedy. So we saw people swinging from trapeze and, these dudes who are strong as hell, jumping on each other. I mean, it was intense. Anyway, it's Vegas is like nowhere else.
Bro, that's awesome. Ray, you said you've been, right?
Yeah.
Like, did you have a similar experience or just real quick?
Well, I spent a little bit more time at the tables.
Okay.
I thought one of the interesting things was, I don't know if they still do this, is whenever you're walking the strip.
Yeah.
Like every block, pretty much, there's just dudes handing out what I called smut cards.
Yep.
And it's
that hasn't
hey,
changed.
come to this strip club, come to this strip club.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. That's definitely one stereotype I imagine is that kind of deal.
If you want to get in trouble, you certainly can.
Yeah, bro. I'm going to stay away from Vegas till maybe I'm like 55 years old or so. Martin, you ever been?
Never been.
Reed? Never?
My dad used to have work conventions in Vegas.
Okay.
So I would go as like a 6-year-old.
Okay.
It's kind of like Vegas Vacation, that old movie with Chevy Chase,
right,
where his kid won like 2 cars on the last day or whatever.
Well,
tell you what, I would actually want to go back with my wife. I think we could find a lot of fun stuff, like more fun stuff to do. Second thing is going with your boys for a big sports weekend, whether it's the first weekend of the NCAA tournament or the first weekend of the NFL or college. I mean, you could. I mean, the bets don't have to be huge. You could put $5
bro,
down,
I don't.
$10 down.
I mean, I bet 5, 10, 15, $20.
And sitting there in front of 20 TVs, it's hard to beat.
Yeah, no, for sure. That would be what I want to do, going like during NFL playoffs or something like that. But that's really cool, man. Hey, Ray, before we get into baseball, do you have a quick recap on our other sports, our other Frogs, tennis? Who else?
So this weekend, women's beach volleyball continued their dominant play. Friday got off to a little bit of a rough start. They played Florida State again for the 3rd time this year. And it's just hard, as good as Florida State is,
right,
to ask any team to beat them 3 times in a row.
For sure.
So they dropped that. They bounced back yesterday, took both games. I think Texas A&M, Corpus Christi they beat, and then they beat LSU again for the 2nd time.
Awesome.
And then on the purple courts, we had our men's tennis team ranked number 1 in the country.
The Fighting Rodites.
Dominating Texas.
Awesome.
So
hey,
we're
that's
dominated
right. We
this
showed
weekend.
them.
Yeah.
We beat Texas.
We got revenge.
That's a good segue into where are we going next, MK?
More to come on baseball in the next segment. You guys ready to talk some ball?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, so let's jump back into Tuesday really quick. We had a midweek game against UT Arlington. The Frogs started a 5-game road series against UT. And on Tuesday night, a few of you guys were in attendance.
Yep.
TCU struck first, scored early. That was matched quickly by UTA in the 3rd inning, and it remained tied until the 6th when the Frogs took over the game. They scored in every inning after that. They kept the Mavs off the board down the stretch. So the Frogs beat UTA with a final score 10-2, highlighted by Reed Spendereth's absolute monster blast to right center in the 8th inning. His first home run of the season.
Okay, that shot hit Fielder Street.
It was a bomb.
His teammates call him Big Explosive
Reed.
and it's and it certainly
We
was
got to
both.
see it.
It certainly was both of those things. It sailed over the scoreboard. I watched the replay a few times. I couldn't even see the ball land.
Yeah, I was on my way out because I was driving back to Dallas for work early the next morning. Frogs had the game well in command, and I saw Reed come up as a pinch hitter. Say, you know what? I'll stand here at the exit and watch this last at bat, and I'm sure glad I did because that was majestic.
On the mound, we had Caden Parker. He allowed the only 2 runs of the game. We saw Caleb Bolden, Augie Milbauer, and Garrett Wright in relief. The bullpen came up big. They went 6 scoreless innings, had a great end of the game. So after the 2 losses the previous week during the midweek games, this was certainly a nice bounce back before the big series against Texas. So unless there are any other thoughts, we're going to move right along to that series in Austin.
No, I think you covered it.
All right.
Yep.
So Texas game 1 on Friday night, the Frogs traveled south for a big top 25 matchup versus the number 7 ranked Horns. From start to finish, game 1 was a classic Friday night pitchers duel, matching up Riley Cornelio with Texas's ace Pete Hansen. Hansen went the full distance. He pitched a 2-hit complete game shutout of the Frogs. Texas won 2-0. It was very impressive performance from him as he struck out 12. He only allowed a single walk. And, you know, we've talked about this previously on the pod, but the Frogs have really counted on walks to, you know, in some of our games to actually win them. And so they could have used it, you know, if they're not getting any walks from Pete Hansen, they could have used some hot bats. Unfortunately, we didn't have either one of them. And Cornelio had a great game, but unfortunately earned the loss on the night. So guys, on your Frogs up for Friday night.
Yeah, Cornelio was amazing, and that's really pretty much all the highlights on the Frog side. But Pete Hansen was just a little bit better. But, yeah, I mean, there's some interesting talking points in this game, and we'll get to those in the next segment. But like you said, I mean, the game cruised right along. It was 2 really dominant pitchers, but, you know, Pete Hansen just was, like I said, a touch better. But Cornelio, it was amazing, and, yeah, I can't wait to talk about that more in depth.
Moving on to game 2 on Saturday. So Friday was the first time that TCU had been shut out since 2019. They had played more than 100 games since that happened. But that would not repeat on Saturday. The Frogs came out firing. They scored 6 runs in the first 2 innings, led by Braden Taylor's 3-run shot in the second inning. After that, the Frogs' bats kind of went quiet. Honestly, it was pretty frustrating for those of us watching that may have had money on the game. We saw runners in scoring position numerous times, but they just could not push anything across. So Marcelo Perez, he started the game. He did fine, not as great as his last start. He actually didn't start last week, but he went almost 6 strong last week and was amazing. So it wasn't that good, but also not terrible. And he was relieved by Caleb Bolden, who really pulled through for the Frogs on the mound. We'll talk about that much more. He only gave up 1 run through the next 5 innings. Texas, you know, I kept waiting for them to break through multiple times in the game, but the Frogs' relief pitching just kind of kept them at bay. And TCU pulled off the win on Saturday, 7-5. Fellas, I know we got some Frogs up for this one.
Yeah, you know, they came out hot, like you said, jumped out to that 6-0 lead. And again, Braden Taylor is just a treat to watch. Another just amazing home run. I feel like I'm saying that every week on this podcast now. And yeah, it's frustrating that the bats went cold, but I'm never going to complain when we put up 6 runs on a pitcher like Tristan Stevens, no matter what sequence they come in. So that was good to see. I never really felt like the Frogs were in danger. In fact, once River Ridings came on in the 9th, I bet all the Texas fans around me, I said, if River blows this save, I'll buy all y'all's drinks for the rest of the night.
How many people was that?
It was about 7 or 8. Okay. It was about 7 or 8. I was like, this is my guy. This is River Ridings. It's blouses. It's over. And, yeah, there was a little bit of controversy at the end, but when you looked at the replay on TV, it was, you know, it was an easy call. So great win. And MK and I cash in on the Frogs money line. I took the over as well. And in the first couple innings, that looked like an easy over, but we didn't get that till like the end. It was 12. So
I cannot say I was as confident as you were in the last few innings.
It was probably the you know, the pre-gaming we did, feeling a little relaxed, and 6 runs in 2 innings is fun.
Liquid confidence.
Yeah, we were chilling, man, especially once River came on. So we had a lot of fun that day.
Frogs even the series 1-1. They go into Sunday, the rubber match, hoping to kind of pull out kind of a surprise win. So we'll start on Sunday afternoon game. The Frogs score first after Curtis Burns doubles. That scored Tommy Sacco, but that was quickly squashed by Ivan Melendez, who we'll talk about his kind of bad weekend, but hit a 2-run bomb in the third inning. And after that, TCU would never lead in the game. There were a few opportunities with runners in scoring position later on, but the Frogs could have tied it. They may even could have gone ahead. It didn't materialize. Texas wins on Sunday 7-3. They hold serve at home. They take 2 out of 3 from the Frogs. For any Frogs up that you guys want to shout out today?
I'll take it.
Go ahead.
Tommy Sacco had
Yes.
an amazing weekend. So going back to Saturday and today, his last 8 plate appearances, he was 6 for 6 with 2 walks. Just incredible. That was about the only bad. I mean, he had Braden Taylor today. That dude never hits a boring home run, as Jacobs said.
Find me one. Somebody find me a boring home run Braden Taylor's ever hit.
That home run was not wind dated.
No,
like,
that was
Melendez's home run was, because that wind was blowing strong out to.
yeah, right to left.
He's got such a professional swing.
Dude, it's so,
so
good.
smooth.
It's so smooth. It feels like he's barely swinging.
You're watching a future major league.
Yeah.
Every time he's up.
I think we should remember that sometime. Yeah, I think we forget.
Martin wants to go deep into Braden Taylor.
He does. All right. Why don't we save it for Martin then? I think, yeah, let's be careful with the phrasing.
I don't know, man. These cameras come on. It's like you gotta perform.
Ray, you briefly mentioned Tommy Sacco.
Yes.
He is perfect on base percentage in his last 9 plate appearances. So for 2 games, he was on base every single time. 6 hits, 3 walks. That dude. I mean, I don't know where this is coming from. I know he's found some different, mental things to work through in terms of his confidence, but it is a total shift from last year.
Well, Drew Davison did the article on profiling him a couple of weeks ago, talking about how back in the offseason he went back to his home in Arizona and just kind of got with his dad, who's also a former college baseball player, and just kind of reworked his swing, got back to 0.
It's great to see.
Yep.
So we can jump into pitching of that game, or do you guys want to do full analysis of the weekend?
Yeah,
and
we got
kinda-
some
and
notes
talk,
on
talk
that,
about
but-
some bigger themes. Okay, let's do that. So,
Okay.
we mentioned a few guys that hit well, despite the fact that we didn't have 2 other games. We're going to take a quick break. We will be right back after
Producer
this
panicking.
after this short break with some analysis of the weekend and some themes we see as a whole for the season.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking we're going to break.
It seemed like
Break after
it
the
seemed
recap.
long, but then I'm like,
Yeah, no, that's good.
Break.
Yes, sir.
What happened?
First break.
It's funny because I started to say that and I realized what I was saying and I was like,
hearing anything on mic 1?
I was at the beginning, and then it was cut.
It cut, yeah.
what happened?
Crap.
It's always my mic.
We lost Ray.
We lost
Did
it.
we lose everything he said?
Yep.
Awesome.
From when to when? It was like mid Vegas talk is when I heard it.
crap.
A little bit after. I think it was slightly after.
Okay.
Do you need to listen to it to see if we need to redo the whole thing?
I think too late at that. We'll just push through and adjust later.
But if
If you hit the game recap,
but if he's talking,
but how much did you really say after Vegas until you start talking to Sacco?
Started saying about his dad.
Yeah, I mean,
a little bit there with Tommy.
It's good
that's fine.
stuff. We've hit it before, so I don't think it would hurt too much to cut it out. I don't know. Let y'all make that decision. But now when I was talking about Braden Taylor, I was like, okay, I know that is a sounding, so I'm going to save it by like.
yeah,
bro.
But then I was like, nah, this sounds funny. I'm going to leave it just like it
Let
is.
me get you some ice cubes.
Alright, yeah, or just see if it works.
So
You good?
Our next break.
yeah, I'm good. I'm trying to figure out, are we doing this again?
Oh,
Well,
I
are
don't
we
think
gonna
so.
be able to
I
do
mean,
that?
you hit the game recap.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think the
And
game
then-
recaps are fine. I'm just wondering if there's anything that we need to replay with Ray. But
Yeah, so I mean, if anything cuts out like that, you can just
Yeah, just stop right there. Well, like,
yeah, just
like,
tell us. to
hold
stop.
on. Podcast emergency.
yeah.
Oh, almost on another one. All right, aren't we ready?
I think so.
Yeah, so I'll take this one out of break.
'Kay.
And then I'll turn it over to Martin. How you want me to set you up? Just let's go back. You want to start with Friday night or?
Hey, this was like kind of a workshop idea I had, but you asking Martin questions.
That's what we're. Yeah, that's what I'm asking him. How he wants me to set him up here.
What do you want to talk about?
So you guys have to talk about for.
Yeah, we've been.
Gotcha.
Let's start with Friday. and let's spend a minute or two on each game talking about, some of the deeper stuff about the games.
So Friday,
Yeah, so I got
Pete.
I got their approach at the plate, so I can set you up with that. Get your thoughts on how they approached Pete Hansen.
Okay, it's working. Very interesting. Because those are brand new chords.
God, we are cord killers, man. We had the same issue. We had all this fancy equipment just like this and couldn't get the cords to work.
Yeah, it's going now.
And then our mixer burned out
Test,
on
test,
us.
test. Can you hear me?
Hey, I'm gonna get Ray to say that thing about Tommy and his dad one more time.
All right, sure. And then we're going to stop again and then coming back. Okay.
I'll just cut that whole section out of the video.
I might just say frogs up. What do you got? And then Ray can chime in and you can cut it wherever
Yeah.
you want. All right.
And then we'll do a fake break, immediately jump back in.
And then I walked right through the shot also. So
That's funny. I mean, we're not like NBC Nightly News, We can have funny stuff like that.
man, Martin, you look so freaking good on this camera, dude.
That's insane. I don't feel good.
It's starting to get a little toasted now.
It is.
Ray at the beginning, he was literally going.
Nervous boy.
And he scratches his leg a lot.
Did you see me do my paper shuffle? Wow, MK was rambling.
I got the, yeah, that.
Does Ray have a girlfriend?
Very
Does Ray have a
professional.
girlfriend?
Hey, I don't
No.
even
Does
know,
Ray have a girlfriend?
No.
I don't even know how we fix it.
That certainly won't help.
So subconscious, but sometimes you will look at MK.
I try to do it like this, though. Like,
That sounds good.
instead of like that. Try to do that.
Look into my eyes and tell me what it is you see.
Yeah.
Hey, Reed. What are you doing?
Hey, I love the perform on camera.
No, I was telling him, Kate, at the break, I was like, I started the sentence and I was like, okay, I know how this is sounding. I can fix it by adding on to the sentence. But I was like, you know what? Nah. Let's just roll. See how they react. I'm going to see how they react to this.
All right, Raymond, we're gonna get you to say your name. Okay.
I'm going to grab another soda pop.
I'm gonna call you in from Frogs Up. So.
Yeah, and then we'll
Was
do
this
fake
after
break and
this?
I'll-
That was after the third game, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
For Sunday. And then I'll mention, I didn't realize it was 9 for 9. I thought it was, he was, he was definitely 6 for 6. I didn't know about that other walk.
You want to stack the empties in like a pyramid?
And then whenever
Right, you
we
forgot the
sign
props.
off,
Every time you cut out, just
I
more
did.
appear in the background.
That's okay.
Do we have
Yeah.
these? Is that one?
Almost.
Hold on. You got a blue one?
There we go.
Glad I picked up some ice.
Yeah. Maybe put the black one in between and kind of alternate colors.
I think it's better if they
Yeah.
bracket because they're dominant colors.
Yeah, that looks good.
You grab me one more.
Let's try not to keep them here too long.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
So we are doing Frogs Up for the third game, and then we are cutting it short or taking a fake break for analysis.
5-second fake break.
Then we'll jump back into analysis, and then you're coming out of analysis,
Uh-huh.
right?
What's up, camera?
Ready and
That is absurd.
action.
God,
That fits so well.
if you do that for real, I'm Horns take 2 out of 3 from the Frogs. Ray, what do you got for Frogs Up for the game on Sunday?
So for today's game, even going back to Saturday, Tommy Sacco had a outstanding weekend. He was 6 for 6 in his last 9 plate appearances. He was 6 for 6 with 3 walks. Get on base 9 times in a row. That's incredible. And then of course, Braden Taylor with another just majestic home run. The dude never hits a boring home run.
Show me one. Show me a boring home run he's ever hit.
It wasn't like Melendez's home run that the wind kind of helped push that one just over the wall, as it was very windy out there in Austin today.
All right, so despite the loss, despite losing the series, there definitely were some high points, and we're going to talk about more of that on our analysis to come up. But we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back in just a few minutes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back to Postgame Beers. We are live here in the Roxo Media House at the Frogs Today studio.
Let's go.
It's still pretty cool, right? Haven't gotten
Pretty
used to it
damn
yet.
cool.
We're live for us, not live for the audience right now. But
Well, we are live. That's
We are
that's
looking live.
All I care about is me.
It just feels good. It just feels good to be close to you guys.
Man, this is fun. I'm having a lot of fun with this.
Yeah.
This is great. Let's
This
keep
is-
this going.
This
I mean-
setup is immaculate.
Zoom is miserable. I just want
Yeah,
to say
it
that.
really is,
No,
man. Like
yeah,
having to do that for school and work, and then God, I don't want to go back to that world. Okay, so for this next part, we're gonna go back to the weekend games and talk about them a little more in depth, and kind of talk about some other analysis as a whole. And for this part, I want to bring in Martin. What's up, Martin? You've been a little quiet. You ready to be unquiet?
You're kind of real excited about being on camera.
Hey, man,
been
you're
cut-
right. You're right. I am. You're not.
You've been cutting me off.
Okay.
Jacob's excitement is kind of canceled by Martin's kind of lack
all right,
of
Martin.
energy over there.
It's
Come
yin
on,
and
brother,
yang.
bring the heat.
It's yin and yang. No, this is Martin's time. So, Martin, let's go back to Friday. So we talked about how great Pete Hansen was, and Riley Cornelio was really good too. But let's start up. Let's talk about, what did you think about the Frogs' offense approach at the plate against Pete Hansen?
Well, just starting off with Pete, I'm getting real sick of this guy.
Yeah.
You know, last year, that 9-3 win for Texas in Fort Worth, Pete Hansen went 7 innings,
Yeah, we never had a chance in that one.
2 hits, no runs. His bullpen gave up 3 runs, but
That's a guy that will be pitching in the major leagues, right? Do you
yeah,
know what his
yeah.
draft projection is by any chance? It's got to be pretty high, right?
no
Top
idea.
5 rounds.
But he's probably shooting that stock up right now.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I
He
wanna
was
say-
really good.
I want to say Kendall Rogers chimed in with an article about him possibly in a second rounder after.
Okay, that sounds about right. Second round, yeah. So, but as far as the approach at the plate goes, I mean, what to me, I thought, you know, they looked like they were really trying to take a patient approach, and they struck out looking 9 times. And I just don't know if I agree with a patient approach against a guy that's going to be, you know, really in the zone throwing strikes. That's not a guy that's going to give you walks. So I would have liked to seen a more aggressive approach. What do you think? Do you agree? Disagree?
Yeah, you know, we're there at the game. The game's just flying by.
Right.
You know, you see the Ks rack up, but you don't really pay attention about, you know, how they're striking out.
Right.
So, obviously, we're a patient team. I figured maybe they'd adjust to that just because this guy doesn't
Within the
really,
game, right?
he doesn't really walk guys. So, he just made his pitches. I didn't notice until after the game, you know, in the hotel, flipping through channels, Longhorn Network. They just got to win, so they're probably just broadcasting the game,
On
you know,
repeat.
for the next
Yeah.
12 hours.
Texas got their national championship, right?
Yeah, so I think it was about the 9th inning. I think he just struck somebody out, and then the camera pans over to the K counter.
Right, where they post the little squares,
Yeah,
right? Like in the
yeah.
stadium, they rack up, and
Right.
there was 12 of them up there. But what did we notice?
So I'm like, what the fuck? They're all backwards. Like, I thought I was looking at it through a mirror or like the Russian alphabet.
Well,
or
what's
something.
really like to me, what's really funny is Ray and Martin. Us 3 were at the game, and we walked away thinking, I've never felt so encouraged after a loss in my life. Because it's like, okay, Pete Hansen was amazing. What are you going to do? And then we started to notice that a lot of the strikeouts were looking.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, maybe they could have been more aggressive. And,
Right.
you know, if they get a fastball early in the count, take their chances trying to put it in play rather than trying to work a walk against a guy who's not going to give you walks.
Right. I mean, obviously we've talked about this so many times on this podcast, how patient our offense is. And that's
it's
just
the
how
identity.
that's how it rolls. It really works a lot better when you have a lineup full of guys who are experienced college baseball players. We had so many guys graduate from last season.
Mm-hmm.
That patience, you know, yes, you can work yourself into a deep count, right?
Right.
You're not scared of getting down, you know, 2 strikes or
Right.
whatever. But, you know, somebody who's played 100-something games in college baseball, he'll just do that better. You
Yeah,
know?
right.
He can recognize a good pitch to hit.
Right.
And sequencing and, facing these conference pitchers multiple times, they kind of get used to how they get, attacked by the pitchers.
Right.
Baseball's a reactionary sport.
Sure. Before we go to Saturday, did you want to talk about Cornelio a little bit? Did you have any notes on him? Just other than he's good? Because to me, I walked away from that thinking, if Cornelio can do that to this lineup, then
Right.
find me a team in the country he can't beat.
I easily felt like that was his best start of his career.
I mean, he had
Yeah, sure, but it is. You're right, but his recent starts have been pretty much just as good. We just haven't seen it against a lineup like Texas,
those-
right?
To the quality of the lineup.
Exactly.
The quality of opponent.
that's the main difference. I mean, he did have like 5 walks or something, which is high for Riley, but
But he's not missing. So that's something we've noticed. I don't know if we've talked about this. Has been how Riley started early in the season.
Yeah.
And how he's been recently is he's walking twice as many guys and giving up half as many hits. To me, that means he's not missing over the plate, but he's missing outside the zone.
It's not really that he's missing his pitch or whatever, but he's just being careful.
Sure.
Because
he was giving up
the
a lot
lineup
of
was
extra,
loaded.
Yep.
So
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I'd rather walk Melendez than
Right.
let him hit a freaking bomb.
It looks like he went with my approach on Friday. Just
Good.
Just striking him out.
Just strike his ass out.
You did say that. I was like, well, Melendez can't hit a home run if you strike him out.
Right. You
Just
guys
do that.
You guys are like, man, we really got to worry about not putting guys on in front of Melendez. Just strike him out.
Strike him out.
That easy.
So
just throw the strikeout pitch.
So in sticking with the topic of how the Frogs approach the pitchers at the plate, we move into Saturday, and right away you see a total adjustment against Tristan Stevens, which was great to see. I wish they would have made that adjustment against Hansen, because you saw a lot of the called third strikes come the second and third time through the order.
Later in the game.
We get into Saturday, they come out attack. And that was really positive to see, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's also, maybe Tristan Hansen was probably, what's his name?
Tristan Stevens, yeah.
So it's probably.
He's going with my naming system.
Yeah.
Pete Stevens and Tristan.
Whatever his name is. It's probably maybe a easier arm slot to see or something,
But it looked like mentally, too, they just went in there saying, because right away, they scored 3 in the first, 3 in the second, and it's just early in the count, bang, bang, bang.
Right.
So
that was good to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
And back to Friday, it's just, Riley pitched a great game. It was just, Texas was just scraped out a couple runs.
Right.
It's a tough loss.
Yeah, it is. And it's really tough, especially coming after the West Virginia series. We were disappointed because we lose 2 out of 3 to Texas in Austin. There's no shame in that. It just feels a little tougher to take after we lost the series to West Virginia, because now we're in a hole. But we'll get into where the Frogs stand,
right?
In the outlook later. But that made it a little tougher. If we'd have won the series against West Virginia.
Yeah, because it was a winnable game.
Right, and we said, just don't get swept in Austin.
Right.
And we
didn't.
didn't. Cool. Yeah. Except we lost series to West Virginia, so it sucks that we couldn't, match.
We could have made up some ground.
Could have made up, exactly. So what else did you see? What about Caleb Bolden, Marcelo Perez?
Oh, Caleb Bolden was amazing this week.
He was.
After Cademan pitched his 3 innings on Tuesday.
Don't worry about Reed. You talk. You talk
so,
let me worry about Reed.
So you saw 3 shutout innings against UTA. Saved the rest of the bullpen.
Yep.
So that we didn't have to get into some kind of slugfest with UTA. We kind of just took care of business. Then Saturday, Caleb comes in after Marcelo's first career start, and what a tough assignment for Marcelo.
Yep.
His first career start.
Which,
On the
Ray.
road in Austin.
Okay, little background. Ray and I were arguing if that was Marcelo's first start. I swore in his sophomore year he'd started some games. Ray, I'm wrong. I apologize to you, sir.
He started, I think his sophomore year was 2020, because I think he's a junior right now.
Yeah, that sounds right, yeah.
I thought he was part of. Well,
was
no,
he
he was an 18 signee, right?
Yeah.
So
his freshman year was 19.
freshman.
So he started his career as a closer, and I swore in his sophomore
Yeah.
year they were trying to work him and Halen Green in his starters.
They were. I don't think he broke fall ball as a starter.
Right.
No.
I mean, he probably could have. That probably would have been the season where he transitioned to a starter.
Like, we knew it was in the plans, but it just never came into fruition until
They were kind of
this
using
past
him
Saturday.
as a long reliever.
Yeah, so
Which
which
he
is
finally
probably one of the first guys who gets moved to
Right.
another
exactly.
rotation spot.
So he finally gets his first start, except it's against the best, second best offense in the country on the road when you
Right.
really need to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I was confident. MK was confident, right? I mean, we put our money where our mouth was.
The other
We put our
UT
money down, and that was probably a stupid bet.
Yeah.
But actually, it wasn't stupid bet. It was just stupid to throw that money down.
So-
Like you were saying, Texas is high. They're ranked in most of the offensive rankings. They're 11th in home runs, 3rd in hits. They have the 9th highest batting average in the nation. I mean, it's a scary lineup.
Yeah, against a pretty quality schedule at this point too.
So I don't want to throw us off a little bit, but a Twitter question that kind of
Okay.
we've been kind of talking
Yeah.
about this stuff right now. So
Let's see it.
Twitter question from Toad to Omaha says, has the confidence in this squad gone up after this week showing we can go toe to toe with UT and really contain their lineup?
I think I don't know if it really went up. I think they always had it because they went into Baylor, won 2 out of 3. They swept K-State. And I mean, you heard what Kendall Rogers said on D1 about the West Virginia series. Like, look, it was a fluky series loss. I think they probably thought that. They got their wheels back on against UTA a little bit. They competed. I think they always had the confidence. Do you guys agree or disagree?
If we had won, so we won against Baylor, we swept
Right.
Kansas State.
Right.
If we had won the West Virginia series and we're sitting here after one win in Austin, I think we're all very pleased.
Right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's why losing this
100%.
series hurts a little more because we did lose the West Virginia series.
'Cause I think we were saying
Just don't get swept, right?
you either instead of now, ideally on the road series with TCU, you want to see them take 1 of 3
Yep.
at least for a successful weekend. Now, since you dropped that series to West Virginia, you're going to have to make that up by
Exactly.
taking either 2 or 3, or even having to outright sweep someone
Right.
on the road.
Yeah, we'll get into that when we talk about the future schedule. But yeah, no, that's a good question. I believe the confidence has always been there.
Yeah, they pretty much did exactly. I mean, they played as well as it was expecting them to.
Right.
The results maybe didn't, turn out in our favor, but they played well. They
It's
played
funny
well.
because you win one on Saturday,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden your hopes and your expectations as a Frog fan go up. Even though we said beforehand, win one in Austin, don't get swept.
Yes.
And we did it. And then
Yes.
it's like Sunday, we get,
Right. And that's because you had Brett Walker come out and give you an oh my God start.
Yeah.
But the offense, they couldn't find a way against what's his name, Aaron Gordon or whoever
Lucas
their Sunday
Gordon.
Lucas Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is another lefty, but it's a Sunday starter. And I kind of want to, for next week, I want to kind of go back and look and see what the offense is doing on Sundays when, in theory, you're getting the back half of the pitching staff. I feel like we're really struggling as a guy who usually bets the over on Sundays and loses money. I kind of feel like the offense is struggling on Sundays a little too much, and I think that's weird. But
Well, it's funny because the offense is struggling, and you have Brett Walker, who it wasn't his best game, but
today,
no, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't his best game, but he had a great game for a Sunday starter. Was it his best game of the entire year?
no.
Houston was
Well,
pretty
I'm
good.
adjusting for opponent.
Yeah, probably
Okay.
the best results versus Houston, but we don't know how good
Yeah.
Houston is yet.
I'm saying 8 hits. It seems like a lot, but when you only give up a couple runs,
He scattered them. He got some key double plays.
Right.
He even had 3 strikeouts, which I set the over under 2.5. So that was good to see. And
Your boy
what
Ray
I
was
didn't like.
confident
Okay,
on that
so getting
over.
into Sunday real quick, Reed. I don't know how much time we have, but we have a couple. Okay. One thing that bothered me today, the Sunday game. Brett Walker was fantastic. Then we get to the third time through the order against the Texas Longhorns lineup. Nobody's warming up in the bullpen. I said, I don't like this. You got Melendez, you got Steely.
Yeah.
I said, I hate this. I feel like this is not going to go well.
at a minimum,
and
you just want somebody warming up.
warming because Melendez comes up, hits a freaking rope right to Sacco. I was like, okay, we got lucky. Then Steely comes up and hits it to the wall, and I said, okay, here we go. Brett, you've been amazing today, but the third time through the order is a whole different beast because these guys are going to make an adjustment, and they did. And I felt like the game kind of started to slip away a little bit, not because the pitching staff, let us down, but when your offense is struggling, you kind of really have to be really on top of pitching. And I think, to me, that was a missed opportunity to have Savage warm. So after the Steely double, he comes in there.
So
right?
So during the game, I'm gonna replay this real quick. We don't have anybody warming up, or maybe Savage had just started warming up.
Right. It was the bottom of the sixth.
So
I
you
think
said-
it was after the Steely double when Luke actually started to get up and stretch, and
You
throw
see
around.
Kirk walk out to the mound. When Kirk walks out to the mound, usually that's a sign that they're going to change pitchers. Except in this instance, he starts talking to Walker for a while, and so you're thinking, wait a second, is he going to keep him in the game? And really, I mean, I guess Kirk could tell us differently, but it seemed that he was just trying to waste time. He was trying to give Savage a little bit more time to warm up. Eventually, the umpire came out and said, "Hey, you're wasting our time here."
Well, they were trying to play catch up from what I believe they should have done to
that's what I'm
start,
saying.
right?
So he could have been doing that ahead of time,
Exactly.
and gotten Luke fully warmed up. It just seemed like kind of like
and Pierce on the other side did that with his starter. He had the bullpen ready for when the third time through the Frogs order, he started getting a little bit of trouble. He got the quick hook, bullpen comes in.
So to really drive home that, it wasn't that Kurt was also – he sent Curtis out first.
Right.
And Curtis slowly walked to the mound, and then after they talked for – 5 or 10 seconds, then he starts his walk out.
Did you guys
try to buy as much time as possible?
Did you guys say the fans at Dish Falk were a little upset about that?
There was some boos.
Oh, they should have been upset.
Or were they? They
I would have
sounded
been
more
upset.
like,
what are we doing?
they sounded more like moos.
We got a podcast to record.
I mean, if this would have been a Lupton, we would have been giving it to him.
It was I mean, but it was kind of fun. Like Martin was saying.
I'm grinning because I'm like, there you go, Kirk.
Hey,
like,
Martin.
Hey, Kirk was crafty.
Yeah.
Little games.
Crafty lefty.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. With Curtis Byrne, like, kind of like, hold on.
Hey, Martin.
And then he's like, he's kind of walking to the pitcher's mound real slowly. I liked it.
Hey, Martin, do you want to move Braden Taylor talk to the look ahead segment? Because we're running out of time here.
I mean, it's pretty short. Braden Taylor, amazing. We knew he's a great hitter.
Yep.
He can hit for power. He runs the bases well, 7 for 7.
Great on defense, by the way. What's much improved from last.
That's the thing that is much improved from last year.
Yes, and his base running.
He was amazing on defense today.
All season.
How many double plays did he have himself
today?
Two. I know he had 2.
He had another one.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he's turning a 5-3 every game.
Two unassisted, and he almost did it again against UTA on Tuesday.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, it was. The River Ridings. And just an incredible quick turn, strong throw to second. And then, Gray makes a great turn and ball game.
So we coined a new phrase today with Braden and Bishop, the babyface boys.
Yeah. We need
all those unassisted
maybe time for a meme.
5-3 double plays.
But, okay, Martin, real quick to wrap this up. Why are we stating the obvious here? Why are we telling people Braden Taylor's good?
Because I feel every week after we record, I'm like, why didn't we talk about Braden Taylor today? He's one of the best players in the country, and I just feel like sometimes we take that for granted.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you're
like
watching something special out there.
Yeah.
And and when you said it, I was like, I agree. It's like, okay, cool. Braden Taylor was one of the best players in the country today. Let's get that in real quick and move on.
Right.
Yeah. Let's talk about the 8-9 hole, not Braden
Yeah.
Taylor, being an All-American.
Yeah, just
right?
because it's not new and exciting.
Yeah.
Because we saw it last year or whatever, we kind of just glazed over it because
sure.
he's hitting. We came into the season. He's on All-American expectations, and he's meeting those expectations.
And we should be giving him credit.
And
Right.
then
Yep.
some.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why I bring my son to the games where I say, hey, this is Lucan Baker. I want you to pay attention to this guy.
Yeah.
This is Nick Lodolo.
Yep.
I want you to watch him pitch
Yep.
because he's going to pitch in Major League
That's
someday.
right.
This is Braden Taylor. So we do take it for granted.
Yeah,
Martin?
he's Braden Taylor, really special. If you haven't seen him play, anybody in Fort Worth, if you want to see a future major leaguer,
That's your guy.
Go down to Lupton.
Martin, great stuff. Let's go to break. We'll be back with more post-game beers after this.
I think we moved right after Ray's World, but I'm really glad you went to it because that was a long.
Yeah, it was. I felt like we needed a break. So.
No, I'm glad because literally we leave every time. It's like we talk about our struggles against lefties.
Yeah.
Who's gonna DH? We forget about our All-American third base.
And Martin brought that up, and I said that's great because we need a little positivity after back-to-back losing.
Hey, the thing is, like, this is what I might be speaking for myself, but this is what we expected out of this series. It's just the West Virginia
Right,
series
but we
that
also
threw everything off.
We also talked about now we got to go steal.
I mentioned that.
Yeah.
Now we're
It's
0 for 1 in
We
opportunities.
expected, but every day we walk into the ballpark, we're like,
I think Oklahoma State
Yeah.
is much more winnable.
And we're gonna get into this on the look ahead. Like, all right, 0 for 1 in chances to climb out of the West Virginia hole.
Yeah.
You got 2 more weeks to do it.
Do you guys want to read Ginger Ale's question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she's joking about. She absolutely wants it read on the air.
Gina's getting roasted.
So let's use that one to lead into the tech preview. How about that?
Sounds good.
All right. Somebody let me in. I use the restroom.
We can do some more at the end, I guess. Do we lead the
How we
nation
doing, sir?
in runners and left on base? I don't know. Is that a stat you can look for?
Feels like it.
Excellent.
Does it?
Yes,
He's
it
ready
does.
to go home. He's just kidding. You ready to go home?
The what? The laundry? Oh, the drink. Oh, yeah, drink's good.
Appreciate you being here.
Sure. No, it's my first time listening to you guys, so it's very exciting. I like the variety you have to the.
Yeah, right. That's what's great about it. Each brings something like it's not the same thing over and over and over.
You guys all have different voices too, which is really fantastic. Especially this podcast before the people. Cool.
Yeah, yeah, we were in here on Wednesday with LP up here. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I missed it too. I think Lenny was here. I couldn't be here, and then Kelsey was here. I couldn't be here. You guys kind of really bad. I say what we really need to do for timing wise is just make sure our wrap up is like tight. It's not drawn out and we don't.
Just goofing around too long there at the end.
Wow, we went through that case fast.
I'm interested to see how this plays out on camera.
Yeah.
This has been good so far.
This is fun.
Yeah.
We got one more laundry. I think I'll take that.
I think live straight through is gonna be tough. Just because we're used to the okay, I just need.
Yeah, but I mean, we can. I don't know. We can.
What's up?
We'll talk about that when the.
I was
when
just
the day
saying,
comes.
if we did it live straight through, it'd just be tough.
I'd be like, be right back.
Yeah.
We would just have to have like commercials ready to roll.
Is that what you do?
Yeah. It's literally like a TV show. You cut to break, and then, I mean, he's our technical guy over there. I'm assuming. Would you just, if we were doing this live?
Okay. Let me cram for tech real quick.
Or if you don't just cut it, like, put your cream water.
They were gonna lose a game to K-State today.
Their offense bailed them out.
Walked them off in the ninth. They were
Yep.
down by one, you know, 2-1 shot. End of game.
Okay.
Oh yeah, well,
Are we cutting Ray's World from
No.
the run sheet?
No, sir. It's your time.
I'm
You
opening
gotta-
this
you
up
take-
and
you take it back from break.
Send it straight to
maybe
you.
they can just
Cool.
listen to our off-air commentary with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
no,
wouldn't be a
but-
bad idea. I mean, kind of gives them
No,
a
put
reason
that on
to
the
walk it
Patreon.
or put on the Patreon.
If you're listening to this, thank you for your subscription.
So real quick, we've got Ray's World. We've got a look ahead to DBU and Texas Tech. We're gonna
the look ahead.
throw
So
in some Twitter questions.
let's
in there.
yeah.
I know. No, it's
Yeah.
So
big.
let's talk about real quick where we stand in the conference because we're halfway through right now. Yeah. So
we've played more conference games than anybody else.
except Baylor, right?
Oh yeah, we have that weird.
I think they had a non-conference week.
Well, everybody does. We just have ours late.
Well, we have a couple of them, right? Like
Yeah.
Florida
No, just-
State.
yeah, okay, yeah,
Florida
right.
State,
Santa Clara.
Santa Clara.
We have two
I think
conferences.
everybody else has one, and we have two. Yeah.
All right, Ray, you ready for Ray's World? I got
I-
a great sound to put in.
I bet I know what it is.
It's just Wayne's World.
Raise World! Raise World! Yeah, Raise World!
Let me get a mic check on one real fast.
Let's go. Hello.
Hello.
Ray, can you hear me? Ray?
Boom.
Ray.
Welcome back to Postgame Beers.
Ready and action.
Damn it. Reese.
MK, did you hear the producer? He said action. Where's my action?
Did y'all see Reed twerking in front of the camera?
Dude, that was awesome.
I hope we got it on video.
MK, action, buddy. Come on, action. Where's my action?
Welcome back to Postgame Beers. We have broken down the games. We've talked a little analysis. We're going to switch gears a little bit and throw it over to Crazy Ray Cartwright for a segment we're titling Ray's World. Ray, what you got for us?
So this week I want to talk about. I've had kind of an adventurous week, starting back in Arlington on Tuesday. Here at the LDC, we like to be a little rowdy in the crowd.
No way.
Wait,
yeah,
what?
exactly. No way.
After a few sody pops?
after a few of the
Or before a few sody pops?
yeah, get a little liquid courage going. So as that game went on against UTA. TCU was kind of taking it to them, and some of the UTA players were kind of having a rough game in the field. Maybe one in particular, the catcher, was having an adventurous night. And so we were kind of heckling him to an extent, not being derogatory or anything. But some of the players' dads, especially Sam Krell's dad, took exception to it, and it started when they were chirping at me, telling me to shut the fuck up, sit down.
Right.
And then I was like, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, fuck yeah.
You want to fucking lean into it? Okay. But yeah, they were telling me, shut the fuck up, sit down. Who do you think you are? And I was turning around. I was like, what? What did I do?
So can I
Kinda
interject real quick?
thing. Yeah.
I was at the game with Ray. We were both, kind of giving UTA a hard time and just having some fun with it because we'd had a frustrating week before. I left after Reed Spinrest's home run. None of this was happening when I was there with him because I guess there's strength in numbers. And then I guess the pack of hungry UTA dads saw an isolated mammal and said, let's get him. So,
A
wolves
gazelle in
found
distress.
so I say that to say, Ray, I will never leave an LDC brother unattended at a road game again.
That's I handled it well. And one of the funniest parts of that was while they were chirping at me, security was right by the dads telling them to calm down. They're like, this dude's over here. He's not cussing. He's not being what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
I think most of the folks that listen to the podcast actually have either met us or know kind of what we do at games. And we certainly like to heckle the players, the coaches, whatever. But
Oh, yeah.
I think one thing we're really good at is not making it derogatory,
Hateful,
not making it so personal
negative.
that it's disgusting. And so we love to have fun. But obviously, they saw that in a different light.
Yeah.
Oh.
So between
Well,
innings,
they were getting their asses kicked.
yeah,
I'm
and that's-
I'm saying the dads thought you guys were doing something different.
Yeah. well, and it's also his son's not playing well, and
They're
we're
probably
sitting
not
there
used to
chirping at
having
his
other fans
son.
there.
Yeah, and so whenever I think it was the bottom of the eighth or whatever, I get up to go to the restroom, but at UTA, their restroom you have to go through the UTA side to get because they've only got 2 bathrooms in their ballpark, and so these two little sharks, these roided up dudes, they follow me into the restroom, and they're barking at me, and they're like, "What are you gonna do now, pussy? Well, let's go. What are you gonna do?" In my face, run your fucking mouth now. And so I tried the move where I tried to split them and just walk away,
Right.
and then one of them dips his shoulder into me and be like, "Oh, you're bumping me now. Do something, swing on me, bro."
I'm like, nah, scoreboard.
So
I'm
they
out.
wanted you to fight.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
They
yeah.
They were trying to instigate, like provoke me into something to where then they could really team up on me. And so after that, I go back to the stands, and sit down, and I'm one of our friends, Jamie, who works in the marketing department. Reed knows her. She came over and sat down, and then I hear something clank in front of me and then roll by my feet. And today I present this quarter, my new lucky quarter, that one of
Walking
the
up
dads.
to the camera.
Ray,
Yeah.
Hand it to me.
So-
Ray, you keep talking.
Ray's lucky quarter.
My new lucky quarter, yeah, that
We're gonna
one
show
of the
this to the
dads had
crowd.
then flung at me, but their arm accuracy was about as good as UTA's that night.
Okay, so they didn't get you to swing in the bathroom, and
Nope.
so now they're throwing quarters at you from
Yep.
behind. Okay.
Just, well, his accuracy was a lot better than theirs.
Oh man.
So that was, that was.
you need to keep this quarter all the way to Omaha.
Oh,
Yes,
for
sir.
Sure, it's my new lucky quarter.
That's awesome, dude. That is so awesome. I'm sorry I
fun.
left you stranded, but at least you got a funny story out of it.
Dude, I mean, that's what we do here at the
How much time do we
LDC.
have, Reed? Huh? Yeah, get to Austin.
And so, on to the weekend.
2.5 minutes.
Okay,
That's
so
good.
Friday we didn't really do much. Although I will say, after the game Friday, I played the best night of pool in my life. Just absolutely dominated Jacob.
I got my ass kicked. I'll say it.
You obliterated some franchise.
I
The student has become the teacher.
Yes, I obliterated his
Taught Ray
franchise.
everything I know, and then he made him better than me.
no longer the master of activities.
No, I'm a student of activities,
The
I
novice.
guess. Learning from Ray now.
But on the Saturday, we had a great afternoon.
So cool, right?
Started off, Jacob found a really good burger place that's unfortunately about to go away. Called
Dirty Martins.
Is it really?
Dirty Martins.
Is it going away?
Yeah, that's why. I
Okay,
had
so
the
you
petition
missed this.
signs
Talk
out
about so I don't want to interrupt you, but real quick, talk about when we talked to Jack at the bar.
Yeah, so whenever we went to the tavern and you went back to the hotel,
Yeah.
we were talking to the bartender, really cool dude, Jack, from the Upper East Side in New York.
Gilmore
and
Girls.
He gave us a background on why Dirty Martins is closing, because they want to tear it down and put like a
railroad.
rail station there,
Yeah,
like their
it's-
dart
it's
version
insane.
or something.
Some
Anyway,
kind of gentrification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that sucks because that burger was really good.
It was delicious.
Hey, we're getting
Honest,
the
man,
wrap
so
up
good.
sign from
And
Reed.
then, I will say that burger, hottest peppers in the world. Jacob got
Yes,
the
sir.
habanero.
Yeah, the habanero. We got some content on that.
Yes,
maybe.
sir.
So we go from there, drink a couple beers at a couple of other places, and the best part was scooting around Austin. That
Yep.
was so much
Yeah.
fun riding the scooters.
What'd y'all think of the stadium? I thought it was a pretty cool place to watch a game there. I'd never been there, and I don't know if tell me if I'm wrong. What you don't see on TV is they actually have Bevo grazing out in left center field, which I think is a little dangerous and odd, but hey, it gives it like a unique twist. But that was cool. What did y'all think of the stadium?
No, it was great, and their fans were great. Everyone that we interacted
They were,
with,
man. They were super
really
cool. Shout out to the Texas fan.
dude, talked to us, told us. Well, remains to be seen.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
graduate from TCU?
Yeah, producer Reed of the TCU podcast.
We got asked that by Adam S on Twitter. He said, "What's the crowd like?" So you guys talked about that. He said,
They were
"It
super cool.
Always seems
Yeah.
full. There always seem to be diehard fans. I think they're better the baseball fans than everyone else."
Well, they keep singing "I've been working on the railroad for some reason." I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
I got tired of that song.
And I don't think people
They work-
realize
no.
what was cool about taking advantage of this trip is this is going to be the last time TCU plays in Austin.
Might be.
man.
Might be,
But
We-
probably will.
Yeah.
Probably will be as
Yeah.
Texas moves to the SEC in the
Didn't
next
think
couple
about
of
that.
years.
That's,
Right.
that's a good note. Yeah. How many miles do you guys travel on the log? Adam asks, or on the scooter.
On the scooter, we covered.
Probably
We
about 5 or 6 miles.
we rode
in.
all through the campus, which is pretty cool. I kind of expected a little more. Maybe we just didn't hit all the right spots in the campus, but there was some cool, taking the scooter through campus.
I think.
was pretty
I mean,
fun,
I went
yeah.
to grad school there. So.
Oh.
Yeah, but.
Oh, the mask comes off.
The
I'm
eyes
saying
of
is,
Texas
it's a great-
are
it's-
upon you.
Put them up.
Oh, the
Horns
live
up,
long
MK.
day.
Get your horns up.
I actually. I can't. I
Off
can't
the
do
rails.
it. I can't do it. The
I never
point
knew
of
that.
me saying that was that Austin's awesome.
Congrats on your win
Campus
this
is
weekend.
just
Okay.
fine.
Congrats on your
I won.
natty.
I won no matter what.
Why were you not betting Texas, your school? On
MK
oh,
poured
he
champagne
hedged.
on himself after the series.
He
Bet
hedged.
against your favorite team. That way you can win no matter what.
All right, I think Reed's getting impatient with us. Good stuff, Raymond. We had a lot of fun in Austin.
Dude,
So
great
let's
time.
get to the look ahead. So who has the conference standings up right now? Anybody?
got 'em.
Okay, cool. Because we're halfway through the conference season. We've played 4 series. MK, where are we at?
Here's who's in first. Can you guys hold on before you guys look at it? Can you guys guess? Who's in
Western
first?
Virginia.
Western Virginia.
Okay, good guess.
We just knew that.
Anyway, we
Western
lost.
Virginia.
We lost the series of West Virginia. They are
ain't
in
played
first
nobody,
place.
MK.
Behind them. It doesn't work when it's against your team.
I know. It sucks.
They ain't playing nobody.
It doesn't have the same effect when they've already played your favorite
West
team.
Virginia National Seed, Kendall.
Behind West Virginia, we've got Texas Tech, who we will look
Yep.
ahead just pretty quickly soon, and Oklahoma State. They're
Okay.
8-2, and then we've got TCU, Texas, Oklahoma, Baylor, Kansas.
So what
Kansas
are
State.
we 3 back? Forget West Virginia. They're going to fall apart. Texas Tech, Oklahoma State.
We've got a few games back.
3 games?
Yeah, at
3 games
least.
back. Yeah, that West Virginia loss, we talked about it. Puts us in a hole.
We have to win the series against Tech. We
And
have to.
Oklahoma
Must
State.
win.
If you
And
want,
Oklahoma
if you want
State.
any chance of a regional, hosting a regional at a minimum, you gotta win the series at home.
I think you got to finish second in the conference, which means you're going to have to beat Oklahoma State and Tech. Like, we
Well,
had an
to
opportunity.
host a super. To host a super third. you could
Okay,
get
yeah, you're
regional.
right. To host, second in the conference. And I don't know, even then it'll be dicey.
We could still host a regional if we're 3rd or 4th.
You're right. I misspoke. Yes, to host a super regional,
Yeah.
you might even have to sweep one of them.
I guess I'm making an assumption that you pick one up at Oklahoma State away,
Right.
You sweep Oklahoma and sweep Kansas.
Which that's
But
gonna be
can we
hard.
even assume, because Kansas beat
and
Tech,
you can't assume
Oklahoma
that because
beat Texas.
Oklahoma beat Texas, so I hate to assume sweeps. And I assumed a sweep against West Virginia. How'd that work out?
GI Joey 10,000 on Twitter asks, who in the Big 12 are you most worried about playing, and why is it Oklahoma State?
Because they're on the road at Oklahoma State.
I would agree with
Like,
that.
having Tech at home, I don't know how we've done in the past at home against Tech. I don't think it's been all that good.
So-
We really haven't had a lot of success against Tech in the regular season, but we own them in the postseason.
I should have done more research ahead of time.
Omaha or the Big 12 tournament,
Neutral
like,
site.
neutral site.
Sweep them every time.
Why do I always feel worse about Tech coming here than I do TCU going to Tech?
Because of all the Lubbock transplants that invade our freaking stadium.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what it is. That's what they say. They say Tech fans just travel so well. When in reality, there's no jobs in Lubbock, so they all come here.
They
And
come
They
down
live
from
here
the
already.
oil and
Right.
gas buildings of
yes,
downtown Fort
yes,
Worth.
it's
and
really
Lupton.
annoying. Should
If
we?
you're a TCU fan and you've got tickets, if you've got TCU tickets this weekend, you can't use them. Please tell somebody who wears purple. So
Find a
we,
frog.
But the thing is, MK, there's unlimited GA ticket sales.
Yeah.
Red and black's gonna fill up that whole
The
first
berm.
base line and outfield.
I'm not worried about GA. I just want people.
Yeah,
in the
they got
seats.
their lawn chairs.
Yeah, for sure. So should we go? Go
f-
ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
we have kind of blown past DBU. We should probably talk about them just for a hot second.
Ugh.
So the Frogs play at Dallas Baptist on Tuesday night at 6:30. Dallas Baptist is ranked 24th in the D1 baseball rankings, but surprisingly, they are the number 2 RPI team in the nation. They've played a lot of Big 12 teams. They played Tech twice, Oklahoma State. They had a series against Maryland and also had a game against Baylor. Now they lost most of those games, but the reason they're number 2 RPI is because they
their
play
schedule.
all the big boys.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
speaking of RPI, at this point we really can't put a lot of stock into it. It makes a lot more sense at the end of the season. But what do we make of that number 2 RPI for DBU?
I mean, just what you said. It's
Played
their
a tough schedule.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to come down when they get into their conference deeper, but they're going to win most of those games. So yeah, they're probably gonna host, don't you think?
They swept Southern Miss.
That's a pretty good win.
And they're on fire.
Yeah,
In
Southern Miss is good.
In the last D1, they do a, here's who's going to make it to the postseason, right? And it was kind of hilarious, but that TCU was playing in the Dallas Baptist region, which is almost, I don't know if it's a slight necessarily. It's just kind of like, all right. Yeah.
I laugh.
Kendall's trolling us, you son of a bitch.
Let's. Do we have any more Twitter questions before we get into Tech?
We do.
I mean, okay. I want to wrap up DBU
We
real
actually
quick.
have some that lead us
DBU is
into
an
Tech.
interesting opponent. I'm glad the game is in Dallas for selfish reasons, and at the end of the day, it's still just a Tuesday game. I'm really trying to get to this Tech series.
Let's jump in. So the Frogs actually play Thursday through Saturday. That's a change from most weekends because of Easter on Sunday. We've
is
got a
risen.
question from, I'm going to read this out from @Tex Ginger Ale.
Shout out to Jay.
Shout out, Jay.
You guys know her?
Yes.
She's
Okay.
one of our dearest
Good
friends.
friend of the pod.
Friend of
Yes.
the pod.
Friend of the
She loves us and loves Tech.
What
So-
miracles need to happen for y'all to win the series against my school starting on Thursday? Wait a second. Did she go to Tech?
She did.
All right. I'll hang up and listen. I'm just kidding. Please don't read this on the podcast. Love y'all. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Ugh. Hey, cut that out. Reed.
Well-
Cut that. Yeah, let's get into Tech. To me, just at a glance, I've watched a couple of their games this year. I feel like they have a very similar profile makeup to Texas. They got a potent lineup. They have a couple pitchers that can really shut you down. What stands out to me right away is their best pitcher does not pitch on Fridays, or at least he hasn't recently. They
Why is
have.
that?
I have no idea. They got Brandon Birdsell with a .95 whip, and I believe he goes on Saturday. But they have Andrew Morris going on Friday, and he's no slouch. He's 4-0 in the season with a 1.2 whip. I just think it's interesting that Birdsell has performed a lot better with a 1. I don't have my glasses on, 9.6 ERA, and Andrew Morris with a 3.74 ERA. So I think to get ahead in this series, you really got to win Friday before you got Cornelio.
Yep.
You got not their best pitcher, right? That seems like a matchup in our favor there. Then we have to grind it out against Birdsell on Saturday, and then hope for the best on Sunday. Martin, what do you think about Tech? What have you seen from them this year?
I mean, they've done this so many times where they, schedule an opponent for like 2 midweek games.
Yeah.
Like New Mexico or whatever. They'll blow them out by 20. And then the next game, they'll come out and either lose or almost lose.
Well, last week they lost 2 midweek games to Grand Canyon.
Got
Right.
swept
Yeah, they did.
by TCU
Grand
West.
Canyon's really good, though.
No, they are. I'm just
Yeah.
saying to lose 2 in a row.
Right. So, I mean, they're wounded.
But is there a specific matchup that you're looking for, whether it's pitching, hitting, something else between Tech and TCU?
The Brandon Birdsell start on Saturday. That's interesting. I'm not sure who's going to start on Saturday for TCU, but
You would think it's Marcelo, right? Or what are we hearing about Crow? Do we have any update on him? Has there been anything in the news?
Man,
I have no update.
I think no
don't-
news
I
is
don't
bad
feel good
news.
about it.
I
I
think
don't
no
feel
news
good
is
about
bad
it.
news, and we should just hope for the best with Krob, and we'll see him when we see him. But as far as right now,
Yeah,
will we?
maybe.
Maybe. If somebody has the guts to ask him about Austin Krob.
Oh,
Ray,
hey,
Martin?
Birdsell got injured last year in the series. You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, down in
Yeah.
Tech. Yeah.
Yeah,
Say the
he
joke
only
you
went-
said, and
I don't make jokes.
so Birdsell comes out of the game, and that sucks. And we were like, I wonder what happened to him. Martin said COVID.
Yeah, they give him a rapid test.
But yeah, he's going on Sunday, and we talked about Brandon. We talked about God. Why am I blanking on his name?
Birdsell?
Braden Taylor. I said
Oh,
Brandon.
Braden
I was like,
Taylor.
what? Braden Taylor being a major leaguer, and you got to come watch him. Jace Young he's right up there with Braden Taylor.
Was
He's-
that Sunday game last year? He hit 3 home
God,
runs.
he
against
crushed the
us.
ball freaking weekend. Oh my God, it
Did
was
you
Getting real
jump
sick of
10
that guy,
feet
too.
in
getting
the
real
air?
sick of that guy. So he's kind of like he's in that Ivan Melendez, Braden Taylor stratosphere of elite players.
Pete Hansen, I guess.
Hey,
I was
what,
gonna say.
Pitcher,
what
sure.
does one thing that Braden Taylor has on Jace Young?
Walks.
Yeah, we got him.
He leads the country.
He leads the country.
go.
Jace Young is only third.
How many home runs
Only
does
third.
Jay? He's only third.
All right. So Frogs have a tough series, but they're hosting Texas Tech. We
Oh,
want.
hold on.
Yeah, whoa.
This-
We got one more.
We talking about Jace Young?
Sure.
Let's just strike him out.
Yeah. We'll show him.
There it is.
Yes, sir. Mark, bring
All right,
it.
we're going to take a quick
Damn
break,
right.
and we'll answer some more of your Twitter questions right after this.
We're running really long on time right now.
Okay, I mean, we're having
So you don't have to
fun.
do Twitter
Good
questions. I
stuff.
can do one more or two. But
Yeah, it's good stuff. I mean,
It is, yeah. I just don't want to have an hour and 45-minute podcast.
no, we'll
I
run
do.
through the Twitter questions quick and then say goodnight.
So
like,
I'm
let's
not going to do all of them. I'm going to do like 2 or 3 that are. it's
yeah,
fun.
find the most find the most interesting ones.
That's what yeah.
Okay, and then we'll just keep the answers to like 30 seconds.
You all ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
Welcome back, Postgame Beers.
Ready and action.
Action.
Welcome back to Postgame Beers.
There you go.
Let's answer some of y'all's Twitter questions. Lauren at Lulu _023 asks, are y'all going to continue to podcast Post Omaha. Great question, Lauren.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about it in depth because we're just grinding on the season right now. But I think it'll be maybe a little more spread out. I don't really know a lot of details, but I know we're going to have some guests. We're going to work on getting some guests on.
You're damn right we're going to still podcast.
Yeah,
after
we
the
are.
season
We are.
is.
So we'll work that out. But definitely, we're not going to just go into hibernation for 9 months.
Lauren, if my wife has anything to say for it, it won't be weekly.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got another Twitter question from Fort Worth Frog. Do we lead the nation in runners left on base? Asking for a friend.
It sure as hell feels like it.
Yeah.
They don't. I don't see that stat on the NCAA website. But
I don't think they would track a negative stat like that.
No, but I think our production with runners in scoring position probably lines up with our offense production overall.
Yeah, I
That's
think early in the season we were kind of above our
we were overproducing with runners in
right,
scoring
with runners in
position.
scoring
Yeah.
position.
And now it's
they
just
kinda
regressing.
regress to the norm.
Yeah.
Regress
It's frustrating, but I mean, this is not a team that, like Reed has said before, that just strings together a bunch of hits. So when it happens with runners in scoring positions, it sucks, but I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary from their overall offensive production.
Part of it is regression. Part of it is also playing guys in our conference who know us and know what we do.
Correct.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, fellas, before we close out, final thoughts, anything that you guys want to mention?
This tech series is going to be fun. We should probably mention, I'm sure most people who are listening know, but Barstool is going to do a pretty cool party. I believe it's on
Thursday.
Okay,
Thursday
out at Lot
afternoon,
13.
starting at 4.
Yeah, we'll be out there. It's their show, but we'll be kind of out there hanging out a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be fun.
And then stay tuned. We're probably going to try to put together a little something for Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday afternoon tailgate. Sponsored with Long Drink.
Our friends.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
yeah.
forgot about that.
Dude, MK's bringing some pork.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm doing? I'm happy to do it. Happy to do more than one pork shoulder. We got a
Hell
lot
yeah.
of
The
people to feed.
Podfather going to feed us.
All right,
We're
guys.
hungry.
That's it for Postgame Beers podcast. If you're still with us, thank you for listening all the way to the end. We'd love if you'd share our hopefully new and improved audio quality podcast with
And
your
video
friends.
quality.
Yeah.
Shoot us a review, subscribe if you haven't already. We
Smash that
cannot
subscribe
wait
button.
to continue
Leave a comment.
this new journey with Frogs today. Roxo Media House, thank you guys for hosting us as we bring you analysis from your favorite team, Frog Ball USA. Hope to see you guys out at Lupton next week. We'll need a huge crowd. Let's get let's get
bring
out
the
there.
energy, boys.
Let's tame those Red Raiders. Until
girls.
then, go Frogs.
Go Frogs.
Go Frogs.
Go Frogs.
Let's go.
Let's go. Boom. Boom.
Air bones.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun.